with a vanishing point and do the traditional thing the way we did it before. So you can see I'm here, I'm kind of going back and forth, but I'm not making a mark. That's actually called ghosting, and it gets your hand kind of ready to make the mark so that you're relatively accurate. And then you just drop your verticals, and you've got a really fast 2-point perspective cube. And this, well, first of all, it's way faster than using the rulers, and it's more practical because if you were sitting and you were doing a bunch of little roughs or thumbnails drawing in perspective, you don't even necessarily need the perspective or the vanishing points. You can definitely, this is more isometric, but you get the idea. You can definitely come up with cubes. That's a sloppy cube, but you can start with this. You can make your own perspective vanishing points. Once you've done that, do the same thing here. Decide where you want to end it, and you've created another kind of top-down view of the 2-point cube. 1-point perspective works the same way. I mean, this is as easy as it gets, doing that kind of cube. But you could also have it come off this way. You could have it starting with the square. And that's like super sloppy, but you get the idea. So waste a page in your sketchbook, just kind of practicing, or a page like front and back kind of thing. Just getting used to doing it. And you can do it either way, like I said, if you want to lay out vanishing points, you don't need the horizon line per se, but if you want to lay out vanishing points just to kind of get in the groove of it. Oops, missed that one. And don't worry if you miss it, you just redraw it, because that's what the cleanup stage is for. And then you can clean it up with your pen later if you feel confident that I've had a lot of caffeine this morning. I don't know how good this is going to be. If you feel confident, you can go in there and do that's horrible. Do your cleanup, or you can use a ruler on your final, totally your choice. But if you have confidence in your inking and you want to do it freehand, by all means do it. It's kind of a fun, it's an exercise more than a project, so it's not worth as much, but it's still a little bit more entertaining than what we were doing. You've got the basics down, now you can start expanding on it. So with your final piece, you can definitely start, it doesn't hurt to start with vanishing points, but again, you don't have to. I would give yourself lots of room and flip the page around. With the ruler, when we were working with rulers, you tend to move the ruler around. Well, in this case, we're going to flip the page around. So you've got your starting point. You've already got some orthogonals built, so you know where you can place your next building or box, wherever you want it to be. Maybe we'll make this one taller. Same rules apply. Whoops, I did that backwards. That's better. So you've got a couple boxes there. Right away, I'm going to go in and erase this just to clean it up. That's better. And then maybe I'll put another building, maybe not quite as low in between. You can see I'm kind of drawing through a little bit, drawing over and through. Actually, now see here, right there, zoom in there. That little tiny bit, this is this part of this building, and you get that little bit. That would be considered a tension point in the design. Your eye's going to go to that, and it's going to bug you because it's not enough. So either don't show it, drop that building down here, and create a really good negative shape, or bring that thing up a little bit more. I'm going to go up. I've got my 3 boxes. And like I said, you can do more if you want to do more. And once you do the cleanup, if you do cleanup with rulers, you can really check, because you created your own vanishing points here. Whoops, zoom out. You created them automatically when you did the first box, so you could use those just to check things if you do. And you can even do that even if you plan to freehand the line work. You can just check everything and make sure it's working the way you want it to. Then we want sidewalk, so we might as well put that in right away. And just like before, when we were creating sidewalks, you create your first slab, and then you can try to space. I'm going backwards in spacing, so I'm going the wrong way. I'm making them wider as they go away. Don't do that. Make sure you don't have to measure them out spacing wise, but just be relatively consistent with kind of getting smaller as they go backwards. That's better. That would work better. And you can see, you tend to make more lines doing this way with freehand, because you need to kind of follow through, but it's easy enough to clean up. But some of this stuff, I don't mind seeing through your design. You can clean some of it up, but definitely leave me some construction. And then, if you're doing product boxes, obviously you might have, whoop, missed that one too, but it's close enough. Split the difference. You're gonna have some kind of label, some kind of image on there. Try to be kind of creative. If that was a can of something or whatever's in that box, you're gonna have a word here. Use the perspective for the type, just like we did with the billboard in the cityscape. It doesn't have to be all boxes either. Let's change this one a little bit. See if I can alter this a little bit. You can start with a cube, but then you can kind of like round it off. And maybe it's and then you could actually use all of these. Maybe it's a loaf of bread. So you could show the slices of bread inside. You could put, bread here, or you could put the brand of the bread there. This one here, maybe it's a can instead of a box. So it doesn't necessarily have to be all boxes. Maybe this is 2 cans, and it could be tuna. If it was something like that, I would offset the type so it's not lined up necessarily. It just makes it more interesting. It can be food. It can be any product you can imagine. So it doesn't have to be food. Somebody yesterday did a pet themed one, so it was all like dog food and fish stuff and things like that. So whatever you want it to be can be. Maybe this is fireworks, which totally botched the type on, but maybe that's a wick there, and this is fireworks. Looks like dynamite, I guess, but could be something like that. So you can come up with whatever it is you want it to do. Obviously, you don't need doors and windows on the packaging, but it shouldn't be just a plain box either. Now, I'm going to use the ruler to clean up because my hand is definitely not greatly steady today. And actually, that one there, would actually probably see, that's better, a little bit. And I'm going to let that break the line of the sidewalk just for fun. Draw right through. You can see here now I'm using the kind of self-created vanishing point for my sidewalk. If you want bushes, you can freehand those. Remember, bushes, they're kind of there to we'll put one here too. Break the planes of the buildings a little bit. You can have a tree down here if you want. Both of them should have a fence and sidewalk. So just to make it look like you're making a city out of packaging. And I think this loaf of bread, I'm gonna do what I was talking about before. I'm gonna bring that, so I should have brought that forward before I inked the sidewalk. So make sure if you're gonna move this forward a bit, that you do in fact do that. This will be easy to freehand, and you can make it kind of look soft and squishy. And you can have your slices. I would definitely do it more carefully than that. But bringing that forward, and you can always shade. If you want to shade part of it. I just shaded it over my type, which is okay, but I can always put my type here, following the perspective. So you can, again, like I said, if you're comfortable freehanding it, go to town. Play with line weight. I would definitely explore line weight, especially where it's sitting on the sidewalk or on the base or whatever. You can definitely explore the line weight. I think I had a alleyway here. You can see, you can start cleaning it up. I might put shading here. Again, you can freehand it if you think you can keep it fairly even, and I'll let it kind of fade out as it gets near the top of the, where the light would hit it more. I'll just keep this side here. This is kind of a tension point here, but not horrible. And again, maybe I'll do shading. And you can see that it just helps push that. Like, this is definitely more interesting than this. This could come along if you played around with it a little bit more. Because there's fireworks there, if you wanted the poles to be fireworks or firecrackers or whatever, you could have them like shooting sparks up in the air, whatever you want to do. Hope that one would be taller. So you could do something like that. Just explore it. Use some of the elements that you use to create the actual layout, incorporate them into some of the smaller details. So how did I do? Yeah, about 25, 20 minutes. That is your project. You can, and that should be again on Cougar paper. So work a little bigger, work to the size of the paper a little bit, explore